Hello and welcome to the second elections episode of FNC. Today's guests are...
Hi, I'm Abby and I'm running for Society's Chair.
Hi, I'm James Greer and I'm running for AU Clubs Officer.
Okay, so both of you obviously have a lot of experience in your sections. Do you want to take us through what you've done over the past 2-3 years? That was your time at Loughborough?
Yeah,
you
can go first.
Awesome. So for the past 2 years I've sat on the Society's Exec Committee. Last year I was the events coordinator, so running the big events like the awards and the showcase. And this year I'm general interest rep, so I look after all the general interest section. And I've also sat on Video Game Society Committee for 3 years.
Cool. So this year I have been the AU Welfare Officer on the AU Exec, in which has been a great experience. We've achieved a lot of things. We've managed to get every AU Club a welfare rep. We've helped strengthen our campaigns, Team Talk and Play with Pride, and hopefully soon we'll be releasing a new campaign which will create better inclusion for minority groups. And we have also just done our big event, AU Lip Sync Battle, which was a huge success, and we raised a lot of money for it. So yeah, a lot of experience, and hopefully if I get elected I can continue my work.
Fabulous. Abby, do you want to talk us through some of your points in your manifesto?
Okay, so my entire campaign theme is Power Up Societies, so I went with a video game theme, obviously. So basically taking work that's already been done and continuing it. So one of the big things this year that Julia and Napo have recently announced is the Society's recognition scheme.
Do you want to explain what that is to everyone?
Okay, it's a chance for you to get basically recognised for the work that you're doing, and the way that you can do that is you earn a little badge. So the badges are called houses. There are 3 houses and you can work through them with your committees to achieve different keys, and the keys are within sort of different sections, so events, growing your society, welfare, sort of all the things that society should be doing but maybe don't realise what help they can get from the LSU and what help they maybe don't realise what help they can get from the LSU and how different sections will help their society as well. So it's sort of like a guidance system, I guess, for society to take the next step. So if you're on a committee and you feel like you don't know what you're doing, that will be the key to helping you, achieve the best you can.
So with regards to SRS, as the scheme is called, how are you going to continue the good work that Napo and her team this year have been implementing?
Okay, one of my manifesto points is to collate a lot of things that already exist into a handbook. So I know that a lot of committees, especially new committees, can struggle to get off the ground. You maybe don't know what roles should be doing, you don't know points of contact and things like that. So whilst the recognition scheme is sort of the end goal, the handbook will help you get to that point. So one example I can think of is a few years ago Exec recorded videos of, "Hi, I'm a chair and this is what I do," and that's a little bit outdated and could be publicised a little bit better so people can find it. So.
James, do you want to talk us through your manifesto?
Yeah, of course. So I kind of see my manifesto in 3 different sections. First bit is support, communication, and then development opportunities. So the first part, support, we obviously have general meetings throughout the year in which, as the AU Exec, we give out a lot of information to clubs, but sometimes because we overwhelm them with information, we don't get the opportunity to perhaps ask them questions or let them ask any problems or issues that they may need to ask. So setting up consistent meetings with not just committee members but also AU members in which they can sit down in front of the AU Exec and talk through any issues that they may have gives a lot better clarity towards overall within the AU sorting out issues that clubs may need to know about. And then communication. Communication to me personally is something that you can never make perfect, but it's something that you can maintain and develop and grow. And of course, kit has been pretty much the Brexit crisis of the AU this year. I like to think that we are getting through it better. But yeah, I think that the issues with kit and the issues with a lot of things that have occurred this year has been down to communication, and I think just strengthening communication links, networks, and creating consistent communication procedures between the AU and Cookery is something that I think would massively help benefit things between clubs knowing what's going on with kit, when kit is arriving, and just overall us giving clubs what they need to know. And then the third point, quite similar to actually what you guys are doing, I want to create an AU hub. So currently our Athletic Union webpage is currently in development, and I kind of want to create an AU member zone in which they have access to nutritional opportunities, physiotherapy opportunities, but also gain access to things outside of the AU, such as CVA opportunities. So, for example, if a tennis team would like to do a level 1 tennis coaching course, and the CVA is facilitating that, if we can put that on that platform, then it's a much better accessibility and knowledge for clubs to go on there rather than finding it elsewhere. So I think that in terms of the development pathway, it's creating better accessibility to those opportunities that perhaps clubs don't really know or find hard to access to.
Yeah, I'm really glad you brought up cookery, because obviously there's been I think a fair few issues this year for both IMS, AU, most of the sporting strands, to be honest, with cookery. How do you intend to deal with any complaints that you may receive over the course of your term if you were to be elected?
I think the delay of kit was almost inevitable because of the fact that we wanted to make it perfect, we want the material to be correct, we want the logo to be correct, and that already caused a delay. I think, kind of referring back to that communication aspect, what a lot of AU clubs found really frustrating and really disappointing was that they weren't given that information, they weren't given regular updates on kit, and that wasn't Lauren's fault by any means at all. It was the fact that the communication between cookery itself and the AU just wasn't strong enough. And I think that creating multiple communication links between cookery, so that if there is somebody that has that distribution knowledge, or somebody that has that size order knowledge, or somebody that has a specific knowledge to a specific issue that we can contact straight away rather than just through one person, I think is so much more beneficial and so much more efficient. And I think, kind of referring back to your question in terms of dealing with complaints, I'm somebody that is a very face-to-face person and likes to sit down and talk with those issues. And I think in terms of support, if there are issues that are arising in terms of kit and people are frustrated about it, then it does call for action. And obviously, if it means that we have to have meetings with cookery to overcome these issues rather than just doing it over an email, I think that is something that is a lot more efficient and something that's a lot more beneficial.
Yeah, you say you're a face-to-face person. Well, part of Abby's manifesto is actually talking about one-to-ones. Do you want to talk people through your ideas about that?
Okay, so during my time at Loughborough, I've known quite a lot of chairs who founded new societies, and one of the things that they struggled with was really getting off the ground originally. So I know that NAPER has been really pushing to meet as many people as possible, and it's something that I'd like to continue next year, because I found that it's so much easier just sitting down with someone and having them ask you questions, and then you see where maybe holes in their knowledge are, or where you could help. So they maybe don't know where they can showcase themselves, and you can go, oh, I've got some great ideas for this, and things like that. It's something that I got a lot of chance to do in society appraisals. We sit down with committees, ask how they're doing, how they're handling the workload, if there's any help they can get. So I think it's very beneficial to get that early doors, rather than appraisals is normally halfway through semester one, and by that time you've already been on committee for a number of months. So meeting committees as soon as they need it.
So talking about one-on-ones, what is your proposed answer to those who might be too intimidated to come speak to you? Because obviously when you're a first year, perhaps, the society's exec and especially the society section chair can be quite a daunting person to go speak your problems to. What do you have any suggestions on how that might be managed?
As part of section meetings already, we do a feedback point. So the rep, so I'm general interest rep, will sit down and ask for feedback on the events that happened most recently. So say, for example, in the first semester, it might be, how's the bazaar? But a manifesto point that I've made is a feedback form that people will be able to fill out at home, where they maybe feel more comfortable doing so. They can maybe have a committee meeting where they go over the form together and things like that. And that will give people who are maybe a little bit more scared to voice their opinion, because no one likes being negative, especially in a room of people you don't know very well. So if they can fill a form out, and hopefully, because it will come after the event, it'll be a little bit more fresh in your mind, so you'll remember, oh, we could have done with this on the day, whereas by the time you have a meeting, you've probably forgotten a few points.
Yeah. Just logistically wise, with this anonymous feedback form, with the nature of it being anonymous, there's not naturally there's no back channel, so you wouldn't be able to respond directly to it because it'd be anonymous. How would you try to implement any criticisms or advice that the feedback form might be giving you?
Okay. Something we did with Video Game Society this year was actually a form as well. After our big event, we'll send it out, and we do invite anyone who wants to suggest, you know, this form could do with this, or hey, you've forgotten about this point, to either contact, you know, a member committee directly, so Society's chair would be contacting me directly, or to voice that in a meeting coming up. So hopefully if the form isn't touching all bases, it gets fixed as quick as possible, and if not, for next time.
So obviously Society's been doing workshops, but so have the AU. How are you going to continue that pathway that your predecessors set out for you?
Yeah. So obviously, as part of the AU Hub, we don't want to just put the CVA, nutritional and physiotherapy opportunities on. At the start of the year, I kind of want to sit down and kind of look at the workshops that, as an AU exec, we've done so far this year, perhaps workshops that we want to do, workshops that we perhaps want to carry on and develop more. And I think that with committee training at the start of the year, you know, when everybody's going into the new roles, you have 3 to 4 hours in a lecture room and then into a workshop, gaining all the knowledge that you need to know. And especially if you're a treasurer or a welfare officer, it's very hard to receive all that information, go away and expect to know it at the back of your hand. And I think especially in terms of welfare and especially in terms of development and finance, the workshops that we've set out across the year has been very beneficial to clubs in terms of gaining better confidence and knowledge of what their roles entail, you know, helping to promote financial sustainability, how clubs can develop specifically within their clubs so that they get better participation rates, and a workshop that me and Brodie have done this year that has been really beneficial is integration, which has massively helped big clubs integrate more in terms of socials, charity events and fundraising. So I think in terms of maintaining that consistency, I think that time management and meeting and actually planning out the year in terms of a timetable as to when workshops would be best fitted. So, you know, a workshop before grant funding applications is something that would be massively beneficial to clubs, so that when they do set up that application, they know what they need to write and they know how to execute that the best way they possibly can.
So obviously Napur, who is the current Society's chair, has been doing a lot of workshops this year. And I imagine you're going to try and continue the work. How do you think that relates to the sport workshops that James was just talking about?
I'm actually quite interested to hear how well attended they are, because I know that some of the Society ones, maybe it was because of where it was placed in the calendar, didn't get that good of attendance, which is a shame because they were really useful resource. So yeah, how well have they been going?
I think so we have such a variety of workshops. So for example, I know within the welfare section, we open a lot of our workshops to everybody, and we get a varied result. At the start of the year we did a welcome workshop in which we made it compulsory for at least every welfare rep or a vice chair to attend that, and that was a really good turnout because it was really, really important information. In terms of finance workshops and development workshops, we make those workshops very specific, so if it's a workshop that perhaps benefits a certain club and we invite them along, we do tend to find that we get a good turnout for that.
Well, thank you guys for watching. We're going to leave it here, but I'll leave it to you guys to say goodbye.
Okay, thank you for watching. My name is Abby and you can vote me to power up societies.
Yep, thank you for watching. I'm James Greer, and vote for Go Greer Lightning as your AU Clubs Officer. Thank you.
So don't forget guys, make sure you're voting. Even if you're going to run, your votes are important and they matter. Thank you guys, see you later. There you go, it wasn't too scary, right? It was alright? Yeah. Cool, well thank you guys so much for coming.